Good day. I would like to talk about an idea I had for a computerized game. I call it Tribe, or you could call it Tribe, or Tribe. Depends on how you pronounce the letters. I came up with this idea when I was thinking, why does everything have to be so competitive? Literally, I read some really interesting articles that somebody has shared on the internet, and it's all about the ideas that people have, you know, for why they play games online, and competitiveness and reward. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, well, I'm the kind of person who would like to play around with the games that are cooperative or fair. Some people came up with this kind of ethical way of dividing things, where, like, say you have two people and you want to see if you can divide it equally. Well, one idea was to let one person cut, like say it's a cupcake or a pie. You let one person do the cutting and the other person choose which portion they want or which slice they want. So I think it's an incentive, if you try that method, to make everybody happy. Someone gets to divide and the other person gets to pick first what portion or what slice they want. So I talked to some other, well, actually I thought about it, talked to other people, heard other ideas, and realized that this idea between, you know, one person cutting and the other person picking first can also really work with more than two people. It can work with three people and maybe larger groups of people. So then I said, I do believe there are other ideas, and maybe there can be a video game where people are encouraged to cooperate to kind of get to the next level. So I came up with this idea. I call it Tribe. Some people can call it Tribe or Tribe. I don't really mind. So although I have very little experience with computer programming, which means I thought it'd be fun to come up with an idea and try to work with it. And that would be kind of the joy in discovering how to make things. Of course, you know, I can't say that you can get very, very far in a language and a system that's been around for years and years, and professionals work with it and use it, but I still thought it'd be fun to come up with some ideas. And professional help would always be helpful. I mean, but I'm just admitting to the fact that I'm not very good at programming. There's some great online sites, but I'm not very good at using them, programming with them. So what I did was just come up with a basic sketch of what I was thinking. So I created the first page, and I'm going to read this. Tribe is an idea for a computerized game. Tribe is an idea for a computerized game. The first level is Symbol A. The first level is similar to a board game or a card game with 3 players, 3 positions. Objective: be the first to get the answer and assemble this answer from the pieces you have. At the beginning of the game, the board will ask you a question. This question has many correct answers: abstract, technical, you know, flipping things. I was trying to think about, like, sometimes you can have an answer and then you can have the corollary. I think, did I pronounce that right? Corollary would be also a correct answer. Each player will guess an answer, then try to assemble his answer using, I thought, basic English, 26 letters. It doesn't have to be just basic English, but that was just what I was thinking, since English is my first language, or primary language. Each player will try to assemble their answer by trading with other players, their competitors. It will be easy getting the pieces you need from your competitors. It will not be easy getting the pieces you need from your competitors. So players may trick each other into holding pieces they will later need and will later try to retrieve. There are penalties involved if a player tries to destroy another player in order to get or monopolize their parts. In fact, if another player is destroyed, the game is over, but not obviously so to the beginner. There is an incentive to protect and support all players, but who will be most supported will depend on how well the players play and answer questions. The first person to answer correctly with an assembled answer wins. So, and then I put a side note, or the author's note. This is based upon DNA and mRNA, which I learned was considered, according to medical people in the medical field, mRNA is messenger RNA assembly. So I learned that this is based upon DNA and mRNA assembly. As I understood it, there's a model where two strands contain instructions. A third single strand is assembled, then rushed outside of the cell membrane to begin production. So I kind of use that as a template or a model, that idea. And it's pretty basic, huh? I didn't get to the nitty-gritty of how this works. The second level, key production. If a player plays very well and gains support from the other two players, then the game can move to another level. The level 1 winner should win some advantage in level 2. It may be first choice at a particular key, or I wrote type. Each player will make keys for themselves, and it doesn't have to be called keys, but most people understand that keys are used to open things, so I kind of like that word too. Keys are important in creating the third level. Keys are also important in creating music and word art. There are many keys that can be made. There are many types of keys. So then I thought about different kind of keys that could be included in this game. There's like elemental keys, element keys. Try B is a game based upon 3 players, 3 units. The real world often has combinations of 4 codons, 4 elements, or 4 traditional elements, earth, water, fire, and air. Some people recognize the 5th element. The later stages of the game will incorporate more real-world applications. Element keys may give the power directional cues in the 3rd level. Elemental keys may be used in body construction in the 3rd level, giving powers in the 3rd level environment. There's also musical keys, and at least in the real world there are musical keys. The Western musical notation system uses 7 letters in musical composition to represent sounds. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. And of course there are sounds that are not, that are outside of those particular, I guess, frequencies or vibrations, I'm not sure. But I mean, I'm just recognizing that there's a lot more music than just those particular notes. But I mean, in constructing, this could be useful. We can use musical notes as guides and as musical tools. As guides, musical notes, musical keys can direct players in level 3. Players may try to win exclusive tools to aid them in musical synthesis. That's just an idea. And then I came up with this idea of the board. And this is actually not even my idea. This is like this is people who are interested in medicine and inheritance. They call this thing, they call these ideas mutation. You know, I don't really can't say I really know, because I kind of think that science has to be like observed. You have to do the experiment, you have to observe, and then you come to your conclusions, or you try to prove your hypothesis, or you do experimentation, but there's got to be some observation. So really all I know is what people talk about, because I read the books. Doesn't mean I did any of the experiments. So I wrote, the board, think point mutation, random keys. That's how I understand it. At this stage, the board can now inject new material, new letters, and new sounds into the game, randomly or unpredictably, giving the players new keys. This is the creative aspect of programming. Creating a program that injects new, usable material unpredictably. This new material can be used to solve problems at a later stage. So you're kind of getting that. That was the ideas behind it. And I have... So, I think this is the ideas that I was working with. And then there's level 3, life. At least in a in some kind of virtual life. Stage 2 has 2 aspects. So, obviously it depends on who works on it, what direction people would take a game or a video game. I wanted it to be educational and fun, and to encourage cooperation versus competition. That was my idea. And the rest of the things are I like. Now, these are the ideas, some of these ideas that I tend to like. Stage 2 has 2 aspects. 1, linguistic creation, such as lyrical poetry, or some people call it rapping, slang, which is kind of verbal creation, new words and new letters connected to sound, are created to answer questions. At this next new stage, the game moves towards new interfaces, music and verbal construction. I mean, I think that's something you can do online. You can't do everything online, like, I don't know, bathe yourself or change your diaper, a baby's real diaper. I'm thinking that. But I'm thinking there are things you can do online and communications, such as verbal, communications, music and verbal construction, call and response, responding to the player who has been playing with you long term, and possibly creating things. So it's like winning keys. The keys created will have applications towards the later game stage. And I wrote level 3 life, not kind of like virtual life really, or unless you like put down the video game and decide I had enough, I'm going outside to talk to real people, or 3-dimensional. Well, or 4-dimensional if you listen to Einstein. They're in the moment with you. Okay, the level 3, life. Now the stage is set for growth and challenge. The players with their keys are now teammates, but first they must construct themselves. The players are given identities. They can name themselves and gain motion through computer animation, which would be great if they could do some kind of animating of their some people call it avatar, some people call it graphic interface. I don't know what to call it. I think it'd be great though if people can actually construct their avatar and animate them using their own voice and their own sense of creativity. I think it'd be really neat. I think it'd be very popular. I think it'd be difficult to construct. But since I was thinking, hey, I don't know how to construct this anyway, this is stuff to play around with, to me, for people who are creative and kind of bored. In a sense, they are given virtual bodies based upon previously chosen keys. See, the way I say it, the way I was thinking about it, as opposed to, just assigning something that's already there, all along from the very beginning level, from the assembly level, you've been kind of picking and maybe just responding, and then in the end you get these kind of tools that might help you construct the kind of, I guess people say avatar, but I'm looking for another word. I don't know another word. So because I don't know another word, I'll just say the kind of avatar that may help. So this is now a video game. It is also a creative program. The third level will have the mini interactive programming. The third level will have the most interactive programming with great, and this is like would be the best ideas ever, with great computer graphics, music, and online connections. I envision a hip-hop video computer program, or maybe something like a ability to build a SIDA-like avatar that you can also kind of program with your own language and and move around kind of like that in a video game, but who can be connected to other avatars, kind of like in a BET avatar cafe. That might be fun, or for me it might be fun. I envision a hip-hop video computer program with Matrix-like, and that's the movie, graphical effects. Imagine a video game where the players cruise down programmed urban streets, subways, and clubs, visiting Morpheus-like musical websites, having superhuman elemental and linguistic powers over their urban environment. In the third level, players can play, they can save their teammates, beat up gangsters, save hip-hop superstars, and club raving divas. The players could also die. Death is now possible for each player, so maybe vampires are also an option. So is reconstruction. Teammates can consider reconstructing killed players, recombining, reincarnating. So how to use online resources applications. While in this virtual animated program, will the players visit real online dating sites where they can meet other virtual players? Will they have access to real party lines and real clubs? And then the funny party lines are now they're no longer oral. They have webcams and webcam abilities. Will they have access to real party lines and real clubs? I guess this is kind of moving people. This is when you're kind of bored playing with your avatar and you kind of want to meet some real people. If you don't go outside and meet real people right outside your door, then you might want to see if you can, after kind of building this